Welcome to another episode of Chat Sports Talk. My name's Chad. Take a dive into sports, and welcome to seems like my almost conclusion of my top 50 positions of the NFL. Today's episode will feature the kickers and punters. Yes, the guys that no one really cares about too much. They really get a lot of accolades, especially the punters. The kickers, you either love them or you hate them, especially if they miss field goals. The double doink. Poor Scott Norwood, who could have won the Bills a Super Bowl in Super Bowl 25, but missed it wide right. And you have all those type of things, and the tropes, and the lonesome kicker skit from Adam Sandler, and then the basis behind Ace Ventura was actually based off of the Scott Norwood situation because the laces were faced technically in the wrong direction, which caused the ball to shift one way. I don't know. It's kickers. I don't know too much about the ball placement or whatnot, and if a spin or the hold or the angle affects it too much. That's not my area of expertise. I'm sorry, but this is going to be a collection of individuals. But before I dive into all that nonsense, if you could go ahead, smash that thumbs up for me. Especially like the content provided you. It really pleases you two guys. Help to pump this channel out. You can also subscribe. A lot of you guys review my work. That means you subscribe. It's cost you a dime. It helps me provide more entertainment value for you. Now, in terms of the kickers and punters, there's not that many in the Hall of Fame either. I think only like 5 in total are in the Hall. And 2 of them that are in the Hall as a kicker are not in this list because I already got them in other portions of my top 50. George Blanda, I put him down as a quarterback. And Lou Agraza, put him down as a tackle. And both these guys were very stellar kickers in their career as well. And both of them played in a time frame where players did multiple positions. But in here, I left them off because I already got them somewhere else. Now, in terms of this particular scenario, I do have the next 50. I do have the remaining Hall of Famers. And why there's not more, I have no idea. But once again, no one loves the kickers or the punters. It just happens to be the thing. But in terms of this particular top 50 for kickers and punters, I have 26 kickers, 24 punters, so somewhat even. Within here, I have 2 AFL champions, 29 Super Bowl champs, 1 World Bowl champ, 2 Grey Cup champion, 2-time USFL champion. Also in here, I will highlight the Pro Football Weekly's Golden Toe Award, which was awarded between 71 and 2001, and is no longer being represented anymore by Pro Football Weekly. But I do put them in there, and this basically highlights, I guess, the best toe of the NFL that year. But I also have 22 winners of that. I also have 2 All USFL, 7 All AFL, 130 All Pros, 7 AFL All Stars, 140 Pro Bowlers, 22 members of the All Decade clubs, 1 All AFL. 2 for the 75th and 4 for the 100th NFL anniversary teams. Now, with the kickers and punters, they didn't really specify get their own position until the 75th. So 2 players on here are on both of those illustrious teams. And a lot of these guys have a lot of something marks for like the most points or the best punting averages. So we'll kind of see some of the highlights in there. With that being said, you know the drill. I have my little presentation for you. Started from the first time they started to the most recent individuals, and I'll discuss further of some of those names on the other side, and enjoy the show. Well, I hope you enjoyed what I provided as my top 50. Is this a perfect list? No, this is my personal opinion of the top 50 kickers and punters. Everyone has their own idea. And I'm sure part by at least 40 of these names, no one's going to fret too much about. Some of these names probably no one remembers being a kicker or a punter. And it's just, there's a lot of these players, because of the kickers and punters didn't get their own specific, they weren't generalized till much later in NFL. So you don't see a lot of the older players listed on here, even though there's a few of the older guys that have done punting, and a lot of quarterbacks used to be punters. And some have been kickers like George Blanda. So there's a few guys out there that have done the kicking and punting duties in earlier NFL, but they're not, wasn't highlighted as much as it is recently. Pretty much starting in the 60s as we start seeing the, highlight of the kickers and punters. And that's why you see more of that aspect, especially when the AFL launched. That's when you really see a more specific skill set just for the kickers and punters. So that's why this one looks a little bit more modern. But once again, as you know, with any list, there's always a cutting room floor. And this time I went down just to 25. I couldn't justify doing another 50. I don't think there's really enough out there to really justify that aspect. So I did the next 25, which was 15 kickers, 10 punters. Then included a 1 NFL champion, 9 Super Bowl champs, 5 winners of the Golden Toe, 18 All-Pros, 19 Pro Bowlers. You'll see a lot more guys have played in the other, like Arena League, AF2, NFL Europe, USFL. But there's also a few players that I did not include in these lists, but I'll discuss all that after you enjoy this little presentation, and I'll see you on the other side. I think you're sticking around for watching that particular group of the next 25. And with that, you'll also see a lot of less accolades for all pro and Pro Bowls. I'm more focused on their stats, how many points they've had, how many punting yards they've had. So it did leave off 2 members of all-decade teams and a member of the all-AFL team. I almost put Tom Landry in here. That's right, Tom Landry, the legendary coach of the Dallas Cowboys, was a successful punter for the New York Giants. But I know between these 2 lists, there was 2 really very unique aspects in terms of these players end up having an AFL and NFL MVPs, which is really unique to really see that, especially with Mosley being the NFL MVP. He was the last kicker basically to win that one. Not normally something you see of a kicker winning an MVP, but he ended up getting it. From Bennett in there, who was a long-time Australian football leaguer. And if you ever watch Australian football, that's a really kind of weird type of sport. It's like rugby mixed with a little bit of basketball. Played on a cricket field, so it's a big round circle stadium. and you pretty much kick for the points. So it's a definitely different aspect of the whole football genre, but it really relies on kicking, and thus you can probably, some of those guys can make a good aspect in terms of being punters. And that's another thing I've kind of realized with these kickers and punters. A lot of these guys were born outside the U.S. They came over, especially when you're talking about Morten Anderson and Jan Stenred, both Scandinavian, being very successful kickers. Like I said, you got Bennett coming out of Australia. Vanderjet was Canadian. There's a couple of Mexicans in here as well. So I'll let you know, you can find your talent anywhere in the world. You just got to know how to best utilize it for your aspects. And that's just for anything. When you think basketball has become international, hockey's international, baseball's international, just a matter of time before we start seeing, other players come from other countries to come over to play in the NFL as the sport kind of grows worldwide. But that's another topic for a different time. But with this one, I hope you enjoyed these two lists of the kickers and punters, and hopefully you kind of remember some of these guys. You go, yep, he's definitely one of the best of all time. Like, I'm sure it's just a matter of time for Adam Vinatieri finds himself in the Hall of Fame. And with that being said, the next episode in this series will be my best teams altogether. So I've taken all of my top 50 lists and started to develop my own teams, limited number of positions. So it's taken a long time. I've been doing it as I've been filling these other lists out and kind of playing around with the numbers. And I'm still trying to figure out if I want to do 4 or 6, because I know if I go 4, I'm going to leave a lot of players out. But if I increase the number of players allowed, that could change aspects. So still debating where to go with this one, and I'm hoping to have that soon and get this finalized. Also got a couple other ideas floating out there. Still got the Major League Baseball, NHL. I've already done the NBA 75. So I'm sure I'll come up with something very shortly with other sports. So just leave a comment down below what you think of these lists. Is there anyone on here that left off that you think should deserve it would be one of these lists? This is somebody in my top 50 that shouldn't be there. Who do you think is going to be the next one to make into the Hall of Fame? Just leave a comment down below. Once you do that, you can once again hit that thumbs up for me. You can also share this video with your friends and family. It really helps promote this channel out. Once you subscribe, you hit that bell notification. Let you know next time I post a video. And I will see you next time on Chat Sports Talk.